I need rest and peace. Asked Zodwa. Well, he gave me some sleeping pills. And when should you take them? Zodwa asked again. Well, they're for you, said Temba. Good evening, and welcome to Fame and Fortune on Talk with Rams Live. This is proving to be a very popular feature already, and I expect it to get even better when we come back next year. Speaking of which, this is our second last show or broadcast of the year. Next week, Tuesday, will be the last show, and we take the Christmas break. I can't wait to see the end of 2020. So I can't wait for that break, and we start afresh next year. But I must not talk too much. I don't even know if I'll last. This COVID is still around. But I'm sure you also can't stand this year anymore. Let's get it out of the way, and let's have a good year. But we still have broadcast tomorrow, and next week we have Monday and Tuesday again, so stay with us. So to the business of the day. Letoya Makhene, I actually suspect that her father spelled her name that way so that we can pronounce it the right way. Because I was not Letoya, no? So it had to be like Letoya Makhene. Was hosting Idols SA in the first season. She trained for several months to be a traditional healer and stopped her practice and went to work in Generations, the legacy until 2019. That role, that notorious gangster wife of Kumkani Pagat, aka Gaddafi. Remember that role? Yeah, that's this woman. She's right here tonight. She comes from a musical background. Family really has been in music forever, and in her own right, she is a music person. She made appearances in the music industry at the age of 7. Folks, do you know I don't remember anything about my age 7. I don't even think I remembered my name at 7. This woman was already a backup singer for Brenda Fassie, no lesser a person, Brenda Fassie. Well, tonight, she graces us with her presence to share her story of fame and fortune. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram as Talk with Rams on all the platforms. Please participate in this conversation by sending questions and comments. You can also do so via WhatsApp voice note on 0672718239. Remember, always use the hashtag fame and fortune. Thokoza Koko.
Thokoza, ninjani Makhene.
Yaphila kunjani Koko?
Asivukile mkhulu.
So Freddie, our technical producer, met you a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think it was at the summers, and he almost did something very embarrassing. I always say to people, it happens to me a lot. She thought, hey, this woman looks familiar, but I'm sure I'm sure it happens a lot. I'm sure that people think, I know this woman. Now, if that happened, if Freddie was brave enough that day to say, who are you? Where do I know you from? How do you introduce yourself to people? And let's say you only have 15 seconds to do so.
I just am Letoya Makhene. That's it.
That's not enough. The reason that we recognize is that there's something about you. You have to tell us about the brand Letoya. What do you say?
Look, if it's just a simple introduction, it is. I really do just introduce myself by my name and surname. If someone does come up to me and says, but I feel like I do know you, sometimes I say to them, oh, okay. Sometimes they will push and say, but please, can you remind me where I know you from? Yeah. Then I'll just simply say I'm an actress, or I'm a singer, or I'm in the entertainment industry.
Now we get in there. Because the question would be, I would ask you, Letoya, it's ignorant, blind. I don't know a lot of people. So I end up asking people, so what do you do for a living? That always helps me to locate you, because I'm like, I know this person. So when I asked you what do you do for a living and you said extras, then I would say, yeah, man, I knew you from somewhere,
So
that's what I would do. So tell me, all these things that
do you know where I picked up on the fact that you know things, but you don't know a lot of things? It was the introduction.
Okay,
your introduction of me, where I think you kind of left it hanging that I was lost on Generations in 2019, but I did make a comeback to the show this year. Okay. So I am back there on Generations the Legacy. Plus, you know, there is this rumor that keeps going around, and I guess it's because some journalist wrote this article in this way and said that I was a backup vocalist for Brenda Fassie at the age of 7. No, honey. No one is blessed enough to be a backing vocalist at the age of 7.
You know that
for
there are
Brenda
lies that you
Fassie.
should just leave as they are. There are lies that are so beautiful, you should leave them as they are. They could
It's
be very
cute.
amazing.
It's cute, but it gets cuter.
Yeah.
The cuter part is that at the age of 7, I was in one of her videos. And in the videos, I was a little backup vocalist. So she kind of touched on the truth, but abayada.
Oh, could it be the video where there were lots of kids like me, that
Not
one?
even that one.
Oh.
My friend
Wow.
dangerous. Oh, yeah.
Wonderful.
So if you remember correctly, there was Brenda Fassie, then there was a mini version of her, and then there were her backup vocalists who were also kids. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. See,
Yeah.
now with that introduction, I think I know who you are. So do you make enough money in what you do?
Do I make enough money in what I do? I always say, you know, had I been doing exactly what I'm doing and I was in a different country like the USA or England, I would be making triple, 4 times, 5 times what I'm making here. And that is where my heart breaks for South African artists, because we work hard, we put in the hours, we sweat, we bleed, and we're very passionate about what we do. Unfortunately, there aren't enough systems in place to really protect us and to protect our finances and to protect what it is that we are trying to build. So we then find ourselves putting in more work and more hours because just to kind of close a gap. Whereas if I was doing exactly what I was doing, if I was just a soapy star in the US of A, I would be living, sure, in a lap of luxury. You know, and that's outside of my voiceover work. That's outside of my work as a musician. That's outside of my corporate work, my emceeing work, my work as a session musician, my work as a recording artist. I would still be making way more than what I am making here in this country. There are also better laws and systems in place there that really work beneficially for the artist. It works for the artist. And we still have quite a long way to go before we get there. And that is why, unfortunately, for artists in this country, why you keep reading kapa o ushwile ale popa. And it's sad and it's unfortunate, but you know, our artists aren't necessarily taught that they are a business. Our artists don't look to tomorrow, especially when they do go through those seasons when they are making a lot of money and they're making a killing. You don't think of investments. You don't think of how you're going to make your money work for you. You just remembering and thinking of the next show, the next gig, the next paycheck, which allows you to continue living the life that you are living and paying your bills. But unfortunately, we get hit with unexpected circumstances, like a lockdown, you know, where you were now counting on that gig and all the gigs that you were booked for the year, but unfortunately you can't even go and perform because we are on lockdown. And these things do happen, and I don't think artists are very savvy when it comes to saving for rainy days.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I'm going to ask you about that later. Oh, by the way, folks, so before, you know, when we spoke off air, before we went on air, Letoya did ask me how long is the conversation. I said 25 to 30 minutes. She almost took it all in one answer. So we're going to try and fit in as many questions as possible because she does give good answers, I must say. So So I enjoy them. So in the little that you make, that we know is not enough and
Yeah.
it's not at the level that you should be paid. Do you get to make any saving? Do you get to make any investments?
I do. I've made bad decisions when it comes to my money,
Yeah.
but also, and sure, I think I would have been much further in terms of coming out of the bad decisions that I've made if I wasn't faced with certain personal life um, circumstances, them being we as women are really, really done in, number one, just by how much we get paid. I've still found that the pay gap between men and women is very different. I can be putting in 20 hours longer than any man, or I could be a much more sought for character, but because I am female, I don't get paid as well as my male counterpart. Number two, when you are a woman and you have been married and you got married at the age of 20, and so you got married for love and you're not thinking of marriage as a business, you make decisions like getting married in community property. And then you get divorced. And then because you were always the financially stronger one within that relationship, you get hit left, right, and center with very unfortunate circumstances. So then you are left for far too long raising and taking care of children that you made within a marriage on your own.
Yes.
And so then already it makes it harder. So already I'm a female, so I'm sitting within the lower pay gap than my male counterpart. And then on top of it, as women, we are generally the ones left to look after our kids, And so you've got that financial strain because you want the best for your children. You want them to have a roof over their head, food in their stomach, a good education, and you still want them to enjoy life and have fun. But I guess because of personal circumstances, I was not always in a situation where I could make the rest, the better financial decisions, because I needed to be able to take care of the here and the now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Any special investment that you look at and say, in spite of my travels, I'm proud of that investment?
I really, really don't like to, dwell very deep into my finances, but sure, my special investments have come with the investment of me setting up my record label.
Yeah.
So for me, that is an investment that allows me to have ownership of my masters. I own my music, and I think it's very important because it helps me to set up a business, and in the long run I have an empire that I'm building, and I've got something that I can leave for my children, rather than the everyday same old situation where we wake up and we are given a record deal, but we spend, and while they might give you an advance, you spend forever having to pay them back for the money that they've loaned you. Plus, you will never own your masters unless you have millions. Then you can buy your intellectual property back from the record label. So one of my biggest and most beautiful investments definitely is me setting up a record label.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
That's a big investment. You go all over the world, great musicians have done that, because whatever happens, even if you drop dead tomorrow, your IP will be in that studio. Your family can at least own that and use it going forward.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you a stupid question because I'm not that clever. Have you ever been broke?
Pardon?
Have you ever been broke?
Absolutely. Who hasn't? I'm telling you, if anybody tells you that they ain't never been broke, they is lying. Unless you're an Oppenheimer, you've definitely been broke. Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I have been to the point where I've needed to reset and I needed to figure out how I am going to get out of this. And mind you, you know, investing in a bad relationship is, can you see now, bad investments? And I'm even talking about personal relationships that
Yes.
become a bad investment. So you walk out of there and you walk out with nothing. You came in with everything and you walk out with nothing. And it's those types of situations that really got me to a point where I decided I need to press the reset button and I want to go home. I remember having left home at the age of 20 when I got married, and I literally went through a first divorce, and I still never had the need to go back home. I could still look after my children. I could still look after myself. I was still okay. But, you know, eventually I had to get to a point where I just needed to go home and press the reset button and be surrounded by people who love me, and to be woken up with love and a cup of tea and hugs and kisses by my grandmother and by my father, and people who were not looking at me and thinking, hey, Mara, you know, like, you need to get out of here. Like, I never had that pressure. All I had was peace of mind, and I could breathe and I could reset and I could think of what my next step needs to be without needing to think of my next plate of food. You know,
Excellent.
and
Excellent.
I'm one of the lucky ones. At least I have home to go back to. I know that there's a lot of people who don't have that option, but I have that option, and I took it, and it's been one of the best things that I could have ever done for myself and for my well-being and for my sanity.
Yes. Now, in spite of, you know, how, you know, money is too tight, we go through things, people in your industry, there's never certainty of income. Things can come and go at any given time. But we all have our weak spot. We all have our extravagance. That one thing that, in spite of how tight money can be, you still find some money to spend on. What is your extravagance? Let me tell you mine. Mine is golf. It doesn't matter how tough things are. I will find money somewhere to go play at least a round of golf somewhere. What is yours?
That's lovely. You know, my weakness has always been my children. And so if I have a moment of extravagance, it has everything to do with them. I'll go out and blow money on them.
Hey, you make us feel bad, Noor. I didn't say my children. I said,
serious. No, but it is a problem. It is a problem. Listen, it is a problem because it took Lebu, my partner, to say to me, honey, you work and you work hard, but I never see you reward yourself for anything that you do. You never take a moment just to do something special for Toya because you're so busy taking care of everyone and everything around you. And I didn't realize that that is something that was so innate and inside of me until I found that it was very difficult for me to actually even try and do something for myself because it's always been everyone before me. But what I do love is for my home to be a reflection of who I am. So I will definitely eventually go and invest in a beautiful set of pots. I will definitely go and invest in furniture and just make my home look as beautiful and as special as I want it to feel because I'm such a homebound person, actually. Yeah. So, you know, chances are when you're looking for me, you're going to find me in my house. So it's got to be everything that I need it to be.
Okay. So if I had met you earlier when I asked you who you are and we met in a lift, And then we meet on the same lift about an hour later. And I say to you, again, we only have 15 seconds. And I say to you, would you say you've made it in your, whatever number of years in the industry? How would you respond?
26. Next year it's going to be 27 years in the industry, actually. And I'm only 36. Ha, 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 ha. How would I respond? How would I respond? No, I haven't made it. There is still a lot of room for so much more that I want to do. I still dream. I still continue dreaming. And my dreams are very, very big. And I don't feel like I've made it. Not until I'm touring the world, because I'm on tour with an album that I've released. I think even then, if someone said to me, do you feel like you've made it? And I'm making millions, I still don't feel like I will ever have made it, because I feel like saying I've made it means that it's okay, I can stop. And I'm not ready to stop. I still have a lot inside of me. What I do keeps me young, rejuvenated, energized. It makes me want to wake up every single day. And yeah, so I'll probably always say to someone, I don't think I've quite made it.
Okay, so I got two last questions for you. On the back of what you've gone through, as you say, you've made bad investments, things have gone wrong here and there, you've had to reboot and stuff like that. How, if you had, if I put you in a room of your peers and you had a few moments with them, what one nugget would you share with them about how to take care of their fortunes while they're still famous?
One thing I will definitely advise them to do is to do something that I've done, is to get a financial advisor. You can never, ever, ever, ever go wrong with the financial advisor. I've managed to buy a few shares here and there. I have done something that people in my industry can't or don't always do. I've got a retirement fund, and soon I'll have an investment portfolio. And I know that I did buy my first property at the age of 25, but I would like to continue doing that. So one thing I will say to them is, get a financial advisor, get someone who will sit down and guide you when it comes to your money, how you use your money, where to put your money, so to help your money grow, so that you're not always living from hand to mouth, so that you're not always waiting for the next job or the next gig. You've got a savings for rainy days. You've got, gosh, and it's, people in my industry even make so much money and they don't even have medical aid. Unfortunately, we are still at this point where we don't qualify for so many benefits. Like, we don't get UIF, we don't get we don't have retirement annuities. We've got absolutely nothing. And so if we don't set ourselves right and do these things for ourselves, we are all going to continue dying paupers. Take 10%, a little 10% of everything you make. If what you made today from this session that you went in and worked on is at 850, then come out and just take 85 Rand and put that aside. If you can discipline yourself to take 10% of every single thing that you make, how much will you have saved eventually? I would say to them, splurge when you know you've done everything else, but splurge with direction. Don't just go ham and do everything that's going to make you look back and regret life. Because while money rolls in, like when it rolls in, it really rolls in. Don't think that it's something that's going to happen forever. It's like staying young is something that is never going to are going to get old. And we've got to be ready for the changes that the changes and the cards that we're going to be dealt. And yeah, for me, being comfortable is everything. I love comfort. I thrive on comfort. So I will do absolutely everything and everything that I can, including maybe not buy myself those pair of shoes for 50,000, just because I'm thinking, where can I better invest this money? You know?
I have also found that even those 50,000 rand shoes without proper socks, but anyway, let's
no jola limang.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that after my last question. So, do you follow the markets, the financial markets?
No, not as often as I should.
So
yeah.
I can guess that then you were not aware at 4 o'clock today when the JSE closed. You were not aware of the rand-dollar exchange.
No, not today. Like today, I've literally been on set the whole day, and I've literally come here. I'm not even at home right now. I needed to just find myself the most decent, most quiet spot that I could find I could do this. So generally, I then start catching up on, the day's business and the markets. When I.
So let me help you with only one thing.
So what's happening? Tell me about
the rand dollar exchange at 4 o'clock was 15 rand 19 to the dollar. So here's my question.
Yeah.
26 years in the industry. When you look at everything you made and lost, it doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter that you can point at it, or you splashed on it, or you drank it, or you snuffed it. It doesn't matter. When you look at everything that you made, would you say you could by now have accumulated $1 million? That's 15. That's a mere 15 million rand.
If I could even tell you how much I was making at the age of 7, 8, 9, 10, before I became savvy, I'd be able to answer this question much more better. Yeah. But I've probably made close to 15 over the years that I've
over
worked.
The years, yes, over the
years. No, we're talking about over the years.
Yes.
Pretty close.
Well, I'll tell you this much. So 26 years in the industry, just about 27, you're pretty close. I say it's not going to take you half that time to get to that 15 in this lifetime. I know that much. I know that much.
And thank you very much. And it's very, very close. And I receive, thank you very much. I receive that. It's not going to take very long. I'm probably, you're going to be surprised how quickly it's going to happen. The next time we talk, I'm going to be like, yo, Rams, pass the Cavassier.
So the next time we talk, we record in your studio and you take care of the bills. Great. I like that because you would have made the money. Great stuff.
No, listen, I still believe in chivalry. Men must still be men. Yeah,
I agree. I agree. So I have asked you all the questions I needed to ask you.
Yeah.
I'm going to conclude by saying this. You must go tell that partner of yours, ne? Or there is a list of names I can give to her of men who got disappointed when she snatched you from them. Like, they were so hurt. They were so hurt.
Still fighting. Why? Bona. Lebu never sunshade. So today everyone is going, but I could have, but apparently it just seems so, and it is, my space is very sacred, very protected. But I'm not an unapproachable person. The person that you have here, that you see here, is pretty much my personality. But people were not bothered. Men were not bothered. And suddenly it's like, oh my gosh, what a loss. Well, you know what? I think my partner in my life has been one of the most, I heard you say 2020, it must go. It's been a kak year.
Hey,
and while it really has been a very, very disheartening year for a lot of people. Some way, somehow, God just kind of brought a lot of magic into my life in 2020. It was the magic of my union with my partner. It was the magic of the types of things that we managed to do. I mean, we managed to, through my foundation, Letoya Makhene Foundation and Lebuswa Investments, we managed to partner up and make sure that people were eating. People were eating during level 5 lockdown, when people had no way of knowing how their next meal is going to be, where they're going to get their next meal from. We were able to consistently take out food parcels. We were able to consistently have soup kitchens, food drives. God, this year has just been, there's just been so many moments of light and blessings just within all of the darkness. So as hectic and as crazy 2020 has been for a lot of people, I will forever be grateful for the blessings that I have received in 2020, including the fact that I am engaged to be married to my partner, and she has embraced me with everything that I am. You know, she has been honorable. She's honored my family. She's brought honor into our home. She's loved me deeply. She's shown me respect, and she's taught me to value myself. And a lot of my most savvy and the difference in approach that I'm taking in my investments and finances and how I'm doing things is also from learning and watching her, you know. So she's adding value in my life, and I can be unapologetically myself, and I can be free to be me, and I can be as
so
beautiful and as gorgeous and as sexy as I want to be, without having to think twice about you know, I've got to tone it down, you know, I feel I'm overpower. And here I can be confidently and beautifully and magically myself, without having...
I'm going to stop you right there. We are out of time.
So
ladies and gentlemen, Letoya Makhene.
If any of the men who are complaining can give me that, I'm willing to listen. But
you willing ungas tape? Don't answer that question. Letoya, it's been beautiful having you here. Thank you so much for your energy, for your love, and I wish you all the best going forward.
Thank you very much. Stay blessed.
We shall see you soon. Give my regards to Lebo.
I will.
Great stuff. Folks, tomorrow, Opportunity Tuesday. Do not miss it. It's going to be lit. I can say so without fear of contradiction. So, from me,